So you understand the 10K. We have item 1, item 1A, item 7. Now you understand the contents and understand. So we are going to reinforce the learning by examining what kind of other use cases, what questions you can answer using the data. So one data I want to give you guys have is, I just talked about the lazy price. So basically, if you compare the item 7 this year with previous year, the new sentence was not really understood by investors. So kind of they missed, but AI can help with that, right? I just mentioned about that examples, lazy price, right? Lazy price, the investors are lazy, so lazy price. So we also talk about some other stuff, what people do, analyze using AI, analyze the 10K. So this is the example I actually talked about you guys earlier, right? So you guys can see 20 years ago, when managers disclose the 10K, so the information was consumed by human, not machines. But 20 years later, you can see that when managers disclose 10K, the information is actually consumed by machine, not human. So you can see that the consumption of the financial news has been changed. Like 20 years ago, the human read all these 10K and get the information. Now, machine will automatically understand this 10K and trade on this. So that's what we showed from the figure. So you can see that the consumption of the financial information has changed. So what are we trying to provide implication for corporate managers are threefold. One is what should the manager do? What should manager do in that case, right? Like if I'm a manager of Microsoft, 20 years ago, I disclose news to you. You are human. I make a human happy. So 20 years later, I disclose the financial information. I'll have to make a machine happy. So how do you make a machine happy, right? How do you make a machine happy? So these are the stuff we want to document. And I told you guys, a lot of European companies, I can't find on their website, a lot of machines are reading the company's website. So I got a phone call. They are wondering how exactly they should respond to the machine algorithm, analyze their web page. So it's kind of in line with what we document in the study. So look at these tables. So let's say this table is on the company's website. Human will read this, right? So what machine will read is the code behind the table. So if you right-click mouse, see the source code of the web page, this one will show up. This code will give you like what's the column, what's the rows. Like this code will generate this table by identify the contents, the numbers, the column, the format. If you run this code, you can generate this table. So human will read this, machine will read this, right? You can see the separation of that. So and then if you go forward, so if you look at this table is also on the company's website. And the human read this easily. But this is the code generate this table. So you can see the code is not friendly to machine. Because the code, when machine read this code, they get an image. The machine has to analyze the image to get the contents of the table. So versus this one, the machine can easily get the contents of the table by reading the numbers. So you can see this case and this case, both are friendly to human. Because human read this table, okay. And read this table is okay. But this code is much friendly to machine versus code like this, because in the second scenario, the AI has to read the image and analyze the image to get the contents, versus this one is much easier. So this is some use case of the annual 10K. So what manager should do is, what manager have doing right now is they want to change the web script language to make it more accessible to machine. This stuff never happened 20 years ago. 20 years ago, managers don't care. Why I care? No one using machine to download my website. But no, now every AI, so your assignment is using AI using a crowd website, right? Even you are using a crowd website. The investors, they are more using spend a lot of resource to crowd a website. So everyone is crowding, and everyone after crowding using AI to analyze the contents. So long time ago, managers don't care about this web script language, but now they have to make this web script language more accessible to the machine algorithm. So this is number one thing they did. And also we did number two is in the annual report, you guys, did I tell you guys the item 7, right? Item 7, do you guys remember? And all this one. So we found the managers trying to make their language style more cater the language style to the Google BERT. Google BERT is large language model. So when we do the project, we don't have a GPT yet. The GPT hasn't go out yet, so we use Google BERT. So basically the idea is the manager make their language style more accessible and favorable perceived by large language model using Google BERT. So this is a second thing. And also we found the managers also go to the training camp. They make their presentation style more favorable by machine algorithm as well. So these are the 3 things, interesting things we found. The managers will change the web SQL language. The manager also make the language style more favorable by large language model, and the manager will change their presentation styles, make machine algorithm like their presentations. So these are the stuff we documented in the and what else you can use the annual report like or 10K. What else you can use 10K? So another stuff. Have you guys remember I talk about the segment information, right? So in the 10K you can get segment information. So for example, what you can do is you can understand the performance of each segment. So what we found here is, so I'll give you guys an example. So before if you don't analyze 10K, you know how Amazon is doing, right? You know Amazon is doing. So you know the aggregated performance in Amazon. But once you do the analysis of the 10K, you can know how Amazon is doing in the retail section, how Amazon doing is the cloud computing section. You can have the disaggregated performance for each section. So this is what we found. So what's the use case of this? So what we found is, if you know the Amazon CEO, how good they perform in the retail, how good they perform in the cloud computing. If you know the segment performance of the CEO will find a better job in the future. So the idea is, before you only know the CEO's aggregated performance, it's difficult to match the right CEO with right firms. But if you have the CEO's skills in each segment, when the CEO looking for another job, there's a better match between the CEO and the following firms. So it's like an analogy is like when you guys find a job, you only report your GPA, and so using the GPA to find a job, then people maybe just don't find a good match. But if you have a GPA in accounting, GPA in finance, GPA in computer science, if you have like a different disaggregated GPA in each course category, it helps the recruiters to find whether you're a good fit or not. So this is the one example I was talking about here. So before this, the Amazon CEO just using the aggregated performance, trying to allocate jobs, and we don't find like a perfect match. But once we analyze the 10K, we found how the CEO is doing good in the retail, how the CEO is doing good in the cloud computing, how the CEO is doing good in the other sections. Once you have the disaggregated, segmented skills, and then it's better for CEO to find the perfect match to firms. So it helps the labor market for executives. So that's also another use case of the analyzing the 10K. So you guys can check the textbook. We wrote the details, how exactly this one helps. So you can see that we have the CEO's names, blah, blah. So we track the CEOs and to see, once we know the CEO's detailed skills and each segment, would that help CEO to find a better firms in the future? And they get along, they create more values. It's like your job, right? So you can, when the recruiters know you better, know the details, the segment skills of you, and you can find the better firms. You fit each other well. So these are the examples we get. So basically, when the two firms match, when the CEO and the future firms they match well, the firms will have a future higher earnings performance and also longer tenure, which means if the CEO and the firm match well, the CEO will stay at the firm longer and deliver higher accounting performance. That's what we found. So what does it mean is 10K information will help. Once we analyze 10K information, we will know the detailed skill of the CEO. We know the CEO, not just aggregated skill. We know the CEO good at retail or good at computing. And once we have the good match between the CEO and the firms, the CEO can deliver higher accounting performance and a longer tenure. So, and the 10K has other parts as well. So it has the properties and the legal proceedings and item 5. So these are, you guys can check textbook. We kind of give the items of these one by one. But the idea is you got to understand the domain data before you go with the AI. So like I said, what's our advantage over the computer science is you understand this data and then you understand the question. And then you apply the AI to understand this data. That's our advantage. That's our advantage. So